Greetings and welcome to another episode of Ceremony, Meditation, and Magic. I'm your host, Aaron Michael Pyne, and it's an honor to have you here again with me. I am super excited to share with you in this episode the magic and the majesty and the depth of the concept of the tree of life. There's so much here in the tree of life, and I want to share as much as I can give you in this episode about it and how ultimately it applies to all the main three topics of the show: meditation, magic, ceremony. All are sort of wrapped around or entwined with the concept of the tree of life. Now, last August of 2019, I did a TEDx talk about this subject, about the tree of life, and a message from the trees, the actual trees themselves, and the spirit of the trees. So if you want to check that out, go to YouTube and you can type in a message from the trees, Aaron Michael Pyne, and you'll get kind of another version or pieces of this that we're going to be discussing here today if you really resonate with this and want to dive more deeply into it. So I'm going to give you some of my background with the tree of life, and why I love trees, and then go into some of the mythologies, and then share with you some ways you can start connecting with this and applying this into your life. So if you didn't notice, my last name is Pyne, and I love to play with that, with the idea of pine trees, and pine trees being definitely one of my favorites of the tree queendoms. And so really since I'd say it's my teenage years that I first really got to really start to connect with nature in a deeper way. I was raised in sort of a suburbia area, and my parents weren't necessarily that much into nature or camping or anything like that. So it wasn't really to my later teens that I got to start going to some parks, and eventually got to go camping with my uncle, and started to connect with nature and really fall in love with it, and desire more of it in my life, and particularly trees, and particularly big trees. Again, I grew up in Ohio in the Midwest, and there's some nice trees there, but compared to when I got to start going to the West Coast, where there's a much more dramatic, larger scale nature, larger scale trees, it was really nurturing for me and really attractive to me. I was just like, I want, want more. How do I get more of this? How do I get into the trees more? And over time, as I began to develop my own spiritual practice and awaken, multidimensionally, I just fell in love with trees that much more, in the nature realms, the nature spirits, the fays, the elves, the devas, all the different beings that exist within, and also sort of, to me, sort of manage and expand and grow and play within nature kingdoms. So for me, trees have always been a place to go for healing, for clarity, for insight, for wisdom, for grounding, for opening up. Even just yesterday, I'm working on a lot of different projects, and I could feel my system starting to get a bit overwhelmed, and a bit of stress. And I was just like, I need to to take a break here and go outside. And I'm traveling right now for the next 2 months. I'm staying at this beautiful place, and there's a nice little strip of forest out back here, and there's one amazing tree here. And so I was like, I just need to just go right there. It's right here for me. So I went and went down into the trees, into the forest for, I don't know, at least half hour or something, and just meditated with the trees, played there, just was in it, and it just reset my system and just cleared everything, helped me reconnect with my power, my purpose, my creativity. Everything sort of came back online, and just kind of relieved all the stress and the heaviness and the emotions and stuff I was navigating, and just got me back in the center. So I'm so grateful that these trees are right there. So even today, for me, trees are so healing and a source of inspiration. To me, they really help me reconnect with the magic of life, the truth of life, the real meaning and purpose of life. They are stationary beings that just hold this presence of ancient wisdom. Some of them are very, very ancient, right? The redwoods, the sequoias, thousands of years old, and other trees around the world, that hold these ancient wisdom codes, ancient wisdom understanding within them. They've seen a lot, they've experienced a lot. And it's just amazing how much they are willing, ready, and able to open up to bring us their magic when we can really just stop and be present and listen. And there's more and more science showing this, showing how much trees are actually in communication with their environment and with each other. There's even studies now showing where trees actually help other trees in the area and transfer nutrients and chemicals back and forth as needed, and how there may be what one scientist I remember called mother trees. Some of the bigger ones, the more stable ones, where they kind of help support all the smaller trees around them and nurture them and help them, rise up. And also how they even release different chemical signals into the air. If, say, one tree maybe is on the edge of the forest is getting attacked by a certain beetle or something like that, it will let the rest of the forest know. It will start to put off different chemicals in the air that the other trees will pick up and help them start to, shift their chemical composition in some way to help defend themselves. They're also interconnected with the fungi network. If there's fungi network nearby, and there's all sorts of communication, it's like a whole internet, nature forest internet that's happening. So they're very alive and active, and there's a lot of electromagnetic energy that trees are giving off and generating and moving through their system as a internal communication. Just like our nervous system has electromagnetic energy, our cells do, and that's a lot of communication happens within our body. Now I'm sort of piecing together. I can't say I've seen scientific proof of this particular piece yet, but you have the HeartMath Institute, which talks a lot about the science of the heart and the electromagnetic field that our heart generates, and how that's really communicating and receiving information, and also putting out information into the world around us, and sharing information with other people. Now, trees also have, different but similar electromagnetic energies that they're communicating with and running and charging up. And so it makes sense to me that if our electromagnetic field's within the range of electromagnetic field of the trees, that there's something happening, there's some kind of communication. And when you look back to more historical cultures that are more connected with magic and spirituality and nature, it was very common to have some level of understanding that trees are alive and sentient beings, and that they can communicate with us. And this is a pretty global phenomenon of idea or principle that trees are alive and can be communicated with all over the world, more so in certain areas. There's even a lot of ancient mystery schools or mystical training areas that were centered in or around trees, and even certain areas where trees were often the center point of important matters for maybe a village or a town. It might be the tree for spiritual matters, for wedding ceremonies, rituals, and for large discussions or important things that need to be figured out amongst people. There was often a grove of trees or a sacred tree that was a central figure, and they knew that to go to that tree is going to help, right, bring the tree's wisdom and the tree's energy into that council or that ceremony or that magic. So this is ancient. All around the world, people have looked to trees for support, and I believe they are sort of a extended family. There's some, I forget all the exact, but there's some Native American legends, right, that they are our standing still brothers and sisters. They're a family. They just don't move like we do. And we even have within us very similar design, right? We have this nervous system that goes through our body that's very tree-like. We have, our lungs are very tree-like, and of course our lungs, major connection right there, are breathing out carbon dioxide that the trees take in, and they give out oxygen, which we take in. We're breathing in union with them. And if you've done other spiritual practices with a partner, a lot of tantric practices are all about circulating and connecting the breath, and that allows you to synergize with somebody, right? So we are constantly synergizing, whether we're aware or not, with trees in the nature realm. We're dynamically entwined, at the very least at that oxygen level of exchange of breath between us. So very key component there. From that place of breath and this wisdom that they are alive, we can begin to open up our connections and begin to learn from them. And I feel like this is where a lot of the tree of life mythology comes from. Now, the tree of life mythology has different names. There's the world tree, the cosmic tree. Yggdrasil is the Norse name for the world tree. Axis Mundi is sort of the tree concept of the central pillar. And there's many other names for the tree of life in cultures around the world. And it's pretty amazing as I've dove into research around this, just how many religions or spiritual cultures around the world had a tree at the center of their mythology. Some were more apparent. Some of it was some had it as a stronger, more, it's more stories, more information around it. Some it was a little more hidden. There wasn't as much information, or at least not that we maybe have found in modern day. It's not to say maybe there wasn't more at some point that was lost. But it's just amazing how widespread it is around the globe. Every continent has some form of it. Even Christianity that sort of came in and kind of suppressed a lot of the traditional spiritual practices. There's still that tree in the Garden of Eden, right? Tree of knowledge of good and evil there. And in the Jewish tradition, there's the tree of life, the Kabbalah, which goes into some more mystical things. So it's such an amazing concept that it's everywhere. And I even just found out some of the Slavic, which is like Eastern European into Russian, some of their more pre-Christian folklore, spiritual traditions. There's a tree of life there. So that was a new one I just found out about. There's one in ancient Egyptian. There's African tree of life. And I was just in Bali not too long ago, and the banyan trees there are these huge, massive, amazing trees. And I know there's banyan trees elsewhere, but they're just they're epic. And that was a sacred tree to them, and they often build cemeteries around it, and their altars. If you just cruising around, you see these trees, and they have little altars in front of them because they know these were extra special sacred trees in the tree of life between the realms. So you find it in different Native American cultures, and Mayans had a tree of life. So it's just like everywhere that there's trees. There's different forms of tree of life, and ancients knew the importance of this tree of life. And what you'll find pretty common through all these is the sort of three levels of the tree of life. You have the roots, and often the roots are expressed as going into the underworld. And the underworld is aspects of what happens after we die. It's aspects of spirit beings, aspects of our ancestors, aspects of our roots, where we came from, what came before us that has got us to where we're at now. So it's the roots of who we are, on an individual level and a collective level. Then you have the branches, which extend up into the heavens. And this is often the place of different gods and goddesses and celestial beings. There's many, different religions have different explanations and modalities of this, but it's often these like higher visions and higher ideals. To me, it's sort of where we are growing or what we're becoming, or what our vision or our purpose is up in these branches. And then in the center is the trunk, of course, that holds everything. And this is often where you find humanity, or you find our center within us, the center part that is both needs to be rooted and connected with the higher realms, yet is centered right here, right now, in this very moment, and able to harness the energy from below and the energy from above into the moment. And in a way, this is the heart. This is the heart of our being. And you can look at this tree of life as understanding that we are each individually this whole map. This tree of life map is within us. So you can even begin to imagine, right, just a tree overlaying you, your spine going through your central column, it's the trunk, and coming out of your feet and your legs, and even your pelvis are the roots going down into the earth, and then coming kind of up from your arms, your hands, your fingers, up through your head are the branches, right? These extending upwards and outwards and growing into the world. And another cool concept is, some trees, not all of them, but some of them give off pine cones, Aaron Michael Pyne, or fruits or seeds. These are sort of their gifts, right, that they spread to the world. And to me, that's sort of our own individual creative gifts. What are we bringing to the world? What fruits do we produce? What seeds do we produce that we put out into the world that others might, be nourished by? So to me, it's one of the most beautiful concepts of reality. Some more aspects of it is it shows the interconnectedness of us, because generally, I mean, right now in the modern area, there's so many areas where the trees are isolated, but in general, in nature, generally you find trees, particularly in forests, obviously, more collected, right, and integrated and interrelating. So I feel like as if we can connect with that within us and those around us, that we become a forest, and we are individual and sovereign and have our own uniqueness and beauty, and also we're interconnected, right? Our roots and our branches are interconnected with those around us, and that supports us, helps us, and allows us to support and help others. So it's a dynamic environment of possibilities as we begin to access and hold this archetypal energetic map within us. Another big component of these trees of life mythologies is the different worlds, and I touched on this a little bit: the underworld, the heavenly realm, and the now and present. So that's kind of the main primary three, right? In a way, the past, the present, and the future. The roots, the lower realms, the current realm, and the higher realms. Now, within some of these mythologies, particularly the Norse one is my favorite, there's many other realms that exist within this tree of life, and there's different accounts of what those are and where they're at. And unfortunately, we've lost some of what might have been the ancient traditions around that. We just have sort of snippets and some things that have been reconstructed. But there's sort of a general consensus that in the Norse there's 9 different realms that existed within this tree of life, and they each had their own stories, mythologies, energies, and purposes. There's a realm of fire, Muspelheim. There's a realm of ice and snow. There's a realm of Jotunheim of the giants, Niflheim of the dwarves, Hell, which is as an underworld of ancestors. Um, Asgard is sort of one of the divine realms. Elfheim is the realm of the elves. So there's these 9 realms that sort of consist, and there's Midgard, which is the human world. Um, all these realms are sort of held within the branches of the tree of life. And the gods and goddesses in these stories traverse these different realms on their adventures, on their journeys, on their epic quest. And each realm has its perils, and each realm has its treasures. And I find this is very symbolic for us, because we each, on our life's journey, go through many different realms, different experiences, maybe some multiple realms at once that we have to navigate. And these ancient mythologies show how they did it, how the gods and goddesses traverse these realms, and within them, encoded with them, are a lot of insights and wisdom and sort of shamanic, multidimensional truths that can help us to navigate the tree of life, because we are all those realms. We have all those realms within us. They're inner realms inside of us that we have to journey through in different ways. And we journey through them within us through like meditation, shamanic journey. And we also journey through them in a way outside of us. And they're sort of like the ingredients that create our life and our external circumstances. And sometimes we may be more stuck in one realm, or we may be afraid of certain realms as well. But ultimately, they're parts of all that we are. They're the composition. They're the ingredients I said, or the colors, that are available for the painting of who we are. And so, as we want to traverse all these realms and bring a love and connection to all these realms, and we access more of our own power, our own magic, and our gifts, if we can attune to as many of these realms as we can. And like I said, the Norse one has 9. I feel like there's many more. 9's a great place to start. I tend to want to maybe complex things, or make things more complicated, or look for more and explore more. That's just kind of my nature. But 9's a great place to start if you're new to this. So as we open these realms and we begin to understand them, we can actually journey into them and receive information. We can receive wisdom. We can receive power and guidance. And this is a key component of anything magic. The ancients knew that in ritual, in meditation, whatever we can do inside of us, when we go on these inner realms journeys, these journeys within us, we experience these realms, we can maybe make shifts or receive something or understand something that can then be brought forth into our outer world, and how we show up in the world, how we express ourselves in the world, and the choices we make in the world, right? So maybe easy example here is if you're working on some creative things, maybe a writing project or an art project, and you kind of lose your momentum, you lose your flow, you lose your energy, right? You might want to go into the fire realm, Muspelheim, in the Norse mythology, right? That's fire, it's intensity, it's dynamic, it's active, and collect some of that fire. You might even just imagine, right? You're bringing and drawing that into your body, into your heart, into your mind. Feel that fire and then bring that back out, and you'll find that starts to help kind of spark and ignite you, right? Or if you need more focus and clarity and dedication and discipline, you might go into the realm of ice and snow, right? It's cold, it's frigid, it's focused. You have to be very on point. You can't get distracted there, right? So accessing that energy there to bring you in. The heavenly realms, Asgard, that is where Odin lives, and it's like this, not quite say modern day like paradise per se, but it's this royal regal hall of high vision and purpose and dedication. So if there's something where you're like, I really need to get some insight, like where am I going in my life, what am I wanting to really create, what am I really here for, I feel like that's a good realm to go journey to and get that clarity and that purpose and stuff. And ultimately you can traverse all these realms. They are within you as you are the tree of life. So it's pretty cool. This tree of life is like a sort of a roadmap, a guide map to all these realms, and helps us navigate through them. So the tree of life is, as I said, the best way to describe it is a roadmap to the multidimensional reality that we are all part of and within. We are, just like I said, there's gods and goddesses. We are beings of light that are traversing the realms of the tree of life within us and around us. So the more you can understand this and play with this and use this as sort of a framework, as a structure for your consciousness to traverse the realms, then things will start making more sense. It'll help you ground your inner spiritual experiences into the world and make more sense of it and outline it. So we're going to do, I'm going to guide you through a little meditation shortly of how you can start to traverse these realms and connect. Now, what's cool is once you do this and you start to understand this, also going out, you can also take this out into nature and go be with the trees. And the trees, right, are a powerful symbol, and they hold that energy of the tree of life because they're closer to it than we are as humans, right? We have tree aspects within us, but we've also sort of extrapolated a little bit further away from that core tree, which is just part of our experience, is getting to be a human and playing in the human realm. So the trees, going out in trees in nature, help us just sort of return more to this original source format or source template of consciousness, of life, of reality. And that, to me, I feel like amplifies our capacity to traverse, amplifies our capacity for magic, amplifies our capacity of consciousness, amplifies our capacity to open up our hearts and heal and transform and be uplifted. So I encourage you to go out there and talk to the trees, listen to the trees with your heart, imagine the trees connecting with you, and just be with the tree. Just be present there with them. I know a lot of people today are going out into nature more and more, and usually, though, there's a lot of activity. They're hiking, they're biking, they're doing whatever they like to do, which is fun. But also I encourage you to go into nature and just be still. See if you can just be like a tree, present, calm, aware, noticing, just observing. From that place, you become more centered and grounded and can start to embody and flow and move within the tree of life. And that's where the magic happens, right? So I'd like to take you on a little tree of life meditation so you can start to connect with these concepts in a deeper way, in a more personable way within you. So I'd like you to go ahead, if you can, if you're able to, sit somewhere comfortably. You can get in a comfy chair like I got here. And you can sit back, close your eyes, And just go ahead and start taking some deep breaths. Allow the breath to soften, to deepen, to open. You can stretch your neck, shoulders if you need to. Open up your body. As you breathe and you allow. And each breath you imagine begins to soften the body, begins to allow the body to just gently open and relax. And then begin to notice your feet, your legs, your roots, your pelvis, and feel that area of your body relaxing with the breath. Just intending that it softens, the muscles soften, the muscles open. And as those relax, begin to imagine roots, energetic roots begin to extend out of your legs, out of your feet, out of your pelvis, and start growing down through the floor, down through the foundation of your house, wherever you're at, and down into the soil, going down deep, deep, deep into the earth, deep physically and deep energetically, into the deeper dimensions of the earth, to the deeper realms within the earth. And just visualizing that, feeling that, and holding that intention to the best of your ability. You may see it, you may feel it, you may just trust and know that that's happening. All those are perfectly perfect. And as these roots go down, you're creating a connection, connecting you in more deeply with the earth. They're connecting you in deeply with other trees and potentially other people that are in alignment with you. Make a healthy forest. And now go ahead and take a deep breath. And as you breathe in, imagine just like a tree does that you start to draw up nutrients, energetic nutrients from the earth. And as you draw in air, you're drawing up energy through those roots into your body. Almost like a sponge, just sucking it up. And the earth is glad to provide this to you. This nourishment, this vitalization. It's rich of minerals and particles and energies and anything your body and your mind and your heart and your spirit need begins to just flow up and flow through your legs, flow through all the muscles and the cells. And that energy is going into each and every cell of your body to nourish it, to vitalize it, to harmonize it, to balance it. This is how you were designed. You're meant to have access to this. And with each breath, just more of this energy comes up, and it's sort of like giving yourself an internal bath with this energy of the earth. Let it come all the way up into your digestive system, your spine, your muscles, your nerves, your blood. Just imagining it or intending it or feeling it as best you can, flowing up through your body, slowly cleansing, nourishing your body. And if there's anywhere in your body, where you're having some health challenges, you can take some extra time there and really just nurture that part of the body, that organ, those muscles, whatever it is. Just really let that area be soaked and taken care of here with as much of this earth energy as you can focus in there. And there's no limit. As much as you need is available to you. Just keep drawing that in. Breathing up more and more, breathing up into your rib cage, into your chest, into your lungs, your heart, up your back, your spine. You can, sometimes I feel like I need to move a little bit. I feel like it kind of starts to open up things. If you feel like you need to move a little bit, that's good too. Help it kind of open and flow through your body, down the arms, the hands, the fingers. Bringing it up into the neck and the head and the jaw. And your whole body should be just being saturated now, being bathed in this energy from the earth. And now what we're going to do here is allow it to also begin to flow back out of your body as it needs to. It may be carrying away anything that needs to be released. And we set the intention here that the breath will continue to help this energy circulate. That this earth energy will continue to move up through you and back out of you, sort of on autopilot. And I do encourage you to, come back in the future, practice this, and go through several circulations, especially if you can do it out in nature. And just bringing that up slowly through the body, and then letting it slowly drain out of the body, and just repeat, repeat. But for now, we're going to move on to the next section. So the next section is your branches. We want to bring your awareness up to your shoulders, your arms, and your head. And imagine there branches extending out, blossoming, blooming out of you, and reaching up towards the heavens, reaching up towards the sky, towards the sun, to the higher realms. And beautiful branches and perhaps leaves, maybe even flowers, blooming and opening to receive the light of the sun and receive the light of the higher dimensional energies that are available to you. And with the breath, you begin to receive that light into your body. And now this light begins to flow through your body at a different frequency or different dimension than the earth energy. But they can both simultaneously dance and weave and move through your body, move through your mind, move through your emotions. So imagining just like brilliant sunlight now pouring into your body, pouring into every cell in your body, pouring into any areas that need some additional help and nurturance right now. And just let that energy slowly penetrate. Brilliant light going through the body. drawing that light down through your full abdomen, down into your root, into your pelvis, and down through the legs. And if you're familiar with some of the energy centers, it's like igniting each of those, bringing light into each of the energy centers and energy pathways in your body, as well as, like I said, every cell, all the way down to your DNA and your RNA and the particles, the atoms, the molecules of your body. All of them are being infused with this light, cleansed, purified, and harmonized with this light. And the energy just continues to dance and weave and integrate into the energy from the earth that is still flowing through you. Right? Just like a tree is bringing up energy from the earth, and it's also bringing in energy from the sun. And it takes both of those to help build the tree. And we're going to set, again here, like on autopilot, the intention that the solar light continues to flow through you. And again, I encourage you to take time in the future to spend a few minutes really just absorbing that light energy. Now we're going to do water. And water is very important for trees to grow. Water is important for us physically and energetically. It represents our emotions. And our emotions, when they're flowing properly, when we allow them to move through, help us to grow as well. They nourish us and help us to express what's going on within us, what we're feeling. And those feelings are actually context and information and guidance for how we can grow and expand ourselves. And how much we can feel allows us, how much we can feel is how much water we can bring in and how much we can flow through life and expand in life. So imagine now as if a beautiful cloud was coming by and pouring down rain upon you, pouring down rain into your roots, upon your leaves, just your whole system, getting this sort of rain bath and watering and letting that help cleanse any stagnant emotions, anything that's kind of stuck. It could be fear, sadness, grief, loss, worry, pain, all those things, right? All the emotions can be happiness and joy and excitement. Full range of emotions here get watered and get cleansed. And this is really great if you're, feeling challenged with something emotionally. This can help kind of just settle that, allow it to flow, allow it to move, allow the emotions to be expressed. It's safe for you to express them in a healthy, harmonious way, because ultimately they're there, like I said, for your growth and expansion. What happens though is many people, we either repress our emotions or we let the emotions sort of take over us. Instead of just being with them, allowing them, loving them, letting them flow in a healthy way. And then once they can flow, it's just like a cloud that passes. And then we can grow. The tree can grow now. It's been watered by that emotion. So imagining your tree is being watered by all your emotions right now. It may be a drizzle, it may be a full-on thunderstorm, whatever is happening for you in the moment. And then we can allow that rain to pass. And we come to the center of the tree, the trunk, in your heart. I want you to find the pulse of your heart. And if you need to put your hand there on your heart, you can do that too. And this is the center point of all of it. It's receiving the nourishment from below, above, and the clouds and the water. And this is the point of where those lower realms, or the energies of the earth, and the upper realms, the realms of the sun, and the leaves and branches, all sort of come together and get to grow and be and experience life. This is, as I said, your current you. And when you're Your current you has that grounding from the earth and the light from above, and the clear flowing waters, and nourished by those waters. Then the you that can now show up is so much more creative, insightful, excited, stable, able to flow through life, able to be present, deeply present with life, and able to bring your creative gifts out to the world. So just feel your trunk just growing and expanding, with your heart growing and expanding. Each breath opening, expanding you out. And that just continues to grow. There's no limit there. Now we're going to come to a close here in this meditation. However, this particular point is, I'll say, the entry, the doorway to start accessing the deeper realms within the tree of life, where you start to go through the heart and sort of like an inner elevator, energetic elevator, move towards those different realms. Now that becomes a bit more in depth than we can go into right now in this episode. But know that this is a great place to practice and cultivate so that you're more prepared for those next journeys. Now, go ahead and feel your entire body again. And as you're ready, just begin making slow, gentle movements coming back to the body. Feeling the muscles anew, feeling your body in a new way, like you've never felt it before. Slowly moving your muscles, your tissues, breathing, and just slowly opening your eyes as you're ready. Coming back to the room, to the video here. Coming back with me. Take a deep breath. And that's a great intro to starting to work with the tree of life within you, starting to reconnect with it. So as I said, I highly encourage you to practice that more in depth, a longer period of time if you can, and ideally outside by some trees will greatly assist you in that process. Now, as I said, also this is sort of the entry gate, the passageway into the deeper realms, the deeper mystery, the deeper magic of the tree of life, which I may get into in some future episodes. And also, I'm launching a new project that is going to be a journey into the inner realms. And it's called Inner Realms Journey Games. It's going to be in sort of this fun adventure game format of meditations, of connecting in with these realms. So if you want to be on the list for that, my goal is to have this launched in June, July. But you can go to innerrealmsjourney.com, INNERJOURNEY, realms, REALMS.com, innerrealmsjourney.com. Go there and you can sign up on the little mailing list there, so you'll be notified when we launch, and get access into the meditations, the guidance. There's going to be training protocols and different meditations, and a lot in there that I can't quite reveal everything yet, but there's going to be a lot in there. I'm building and have a great team helping me get it going. So if this resonated with you and you're like, yeah, I want to go further, I want to check out these other realms that Aaron's talking about, that's going to be an awesome framework and structure that I'm creating to assist you in learning how to journey through the realms and make so much from it, and explore so much, and have a lot of fun, and bring it into your life to help you change your life and what's going on in the world right now. I feel like everyone needs to have this wisdom and this access so that they can bring forth their magic out into the world. And to me, that's my mission, my purpose, my highest excitement. So Thank you so much for joining me in this little journey about the tree of life. I hope it give you more depth and understanding about the tree of life and trees in general, and they're important part of our life. Not just from all the amazing physical things they provide us, like oxygen and fruit and lumber and textiles and medicines and so many things. There's also a whole level of spirituality and wisdom and insight that trees provide us and are excited to share with us. So go out there, don't just hug a tree, but just connect, really experience a tree. And until our next episode, thank you so much. May the blessings of the trees be with you. May the forest be with you. And again, make sure to go check out my TEDx talk. If you go to YouTube and you can search A Message from the Trees, Aaron Pyne, Pyne, tree, but with a Y, Pyne, you'll be able to watch the TEDx talk. That's sort of a culmination and a condensed version of some of this, and there's a few other nuggets of wisdom in there that I didn't share in this episode. So thank you so much. Beautiful blessings to you, and until next time.